Okay, so welcome to this user day for GRAPHISOFT Malaysia and Singapore user community. We want to thank you for joining us and support us on another valuable sharing session. In today's event, we have the pleasure to have Jae from Enzyme, showcasing how GRAPHISOFT helps them to achieve collaboration and communication with our ecosystem. After this, we will present you how we can achieve a sustainable BIM implementation and reach your BIM KPIs. We'll show you our add-ons that are part of our premium SSA content. And with our global GRAPHISOFT Learn program, you can upskill your knowledge in many areas. After all this, we will host a Q&A sharing session, and a lucky draw for those that stay throughout the event.
Lucky draw.
We'll have the pleasure to connect you to our 2 breakout sessions where we're discussing and design collaboration and construction collaboration. So up to you now, Jae. Please indulge us with your wonderful presentation.
Can you see my screen? Thank you, Marcelo, and thank you for GRAPHISOFT for inviting us for the user day today. And then thank you for everyone for attending today's evening event. I'm Jae Kim from Enzyme Singapore, and today I will share the communication and collaboration process, what we are actually using it in our project process, and not only for the internally, also the externally. First of all, we are all designers, and all of our staff are architects, and then we are all tech savvy. So I can say we are the digital consultants and also the BIM technology advocates. And then the 2 founders here, and then they started the company in Hong Kong with the dream of changing the architecture industry. Which is one dream, like bring together all the design, efficiency, and innovation. I think somebody pushed you like that, so just show your screen. You see? Can you see?
Still not. We don't see your screen, Jae.
Oh, sorry, one second.
I have to exit full screen. Okay, exit full screen on Teams.
Okay. Sorry for the interrupt. Okay. Now I think everyone can see my screen. Okay, so like here's the 2 founders, Hoe and Hoe Neo. Actually, they started the company in Hong Kong with the dream of changing architecture industry, which is one dream, like bringing all together the design efficiency and the innovation. And then we work very hard to achieve a high quality design. And then we are not only interested in design part, we also really care about the development of projects such as a design process. And then we always try to improve the way of creating projects. So we treat every project as experiments to bring together different technology, different field, and then we always happy to accept all the challenges. So this is a photo of our Hong Kong office. And then our actual company is all over the world, like in Hong Kong and Singapore, and then so Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, also Madrid in Spain. And then we have worked with very important clients over the world, like Middle East, Hong Kong, Korea as well. And then some of them are the developers also, but also work with the architects for the various scope of works. And then we also done a lot of different educational and academic works, running workshops, lectures, and teaching as well. So our two founders, Jorge and Jorge is a professor in the GRAPH University in Spain for the BIM management course. And in the last 3 years, we conducted over like 20 conferences all over the world, and then to communicate the BIM as a good design tools and also for the construction process. And this is like a photo from the one of the key client conference in 2018. And then our experience is now from small scale to the large scale, like such as from the interior design and then also master planning scale. So, and these are some project photos we have developed in the past years. You can see from the very large projects and then also the architecture, also the interior design projects as well. So as architect, we use ArchiCAD for the base, for the BIM authoring tool, and also for the design. And then we are trying to develop the perfect smarter workflows. And this is just one of the photos, like when we collaborate with the Takenaka. Actually, we collaborate with them for 2 years about like for competition project, also like some building projects. And then, and then ArchiCAD is our backbone of our workflow. And then for the organize and coordinate the process for all projects. And so I'm gonna share some of the internal collaboration process. And then first of all, I wanna talk about when I met these guys, the Enzyme guys, at the first time. Actually, I met them in the 2017 KCC in Kyoto. Actually, at that time, I was thinking that the architect firm is a bit conservative to adopt and implement the technology in the process. So I was thinking, like, we have all the infrastructure over there. I mean, in the industry, like the cloud system, also all the communication online system. Then why should we work in the one place, in one office, like in one country? So I was thinking, like, how to work remotely. And then actually, when I heard the presentation in this KCC, I was quite impressed because they already set up their office. What I thought and what I was thinking, the system. So like this is just some kind of fun photos. Like so, as we set up all the cloud and then the online communication, actually we can work anywhere, like any time. So even with the beard. Okay. So and then we are a young company, like being only 6 years, and then a small company. I mean, we're about like 12 people at the moment. And then we have worked like over 106 projects, and for 6 years, I mean, which is quite good progress. And then we also have done the projects in many countries, and then we work very globally and have a wide mindset. We are not focusing to one market, but we also give the more solutions with the global scale project as well. So as I presented, like our office is set up in different countries and working with the projects all over the world. So based on these kind of environments, I want to share some how we set up the like BIM workflow and also the other communication tools as well. So based on like as ArchiCAD is the backbone, the base program for the our design design start. So we use the ArchiCAD as a BIM authoring tool, and then like we use a BIMX for the like design check. And then all these link like from the Hong Kong, Singapore, Madrid, the Ho Chi Minh City. So like every step in our office, we can use like one single model. So we are not using like all different model. So that's how we set up the BIM with the BIM cloud. And then recently, actually, we have a design partner. So which is the Thomson Architects, actually. So and they also connect with our BIM cloud. So actually, we are doing some projects in Canada as well currently, and then we are also working with the live model. So all the design are updating the concurrently. And then so ArchiCAD is a base tool, as an authoring tool, but we also use Grasshopper through the Rhino. And then we use BMX and Solibri for the BIM collaboration and quality control tools. And then we also use the visualization with the Twinmotion with the Unreal Engine. And then we are also very interested in the sustainable design as well. So we use Ladybug, Odyssey to study all those environmental effects. And then we are also pushing the Open BIM workflow to collaborate the other consultants. Because I mean, ArchiCAD is good too, but it's not only one software in the industry. There are many other software in the industry, like Autodesk, SketchUp, like MicroStation as well. So we are trying to use the IFC for the Open BIM process. And then these are our other types of communication tools we are internally using. So for the document management, we use a Dropbox, and then team communication with the Slack, and then also project management, time management with the Airtable and Active Collab. And then also for some research, we run the Enzyme blog, and to communicate with the people, which is not in our industry. We also use the Facebook, LinkedIn, the Instagram, like social network. So like not funny story, but like our design partner in Canada, actually he texts to one of our founders through the LinkedIn. So for to suggest the collaboration works. So our communication with other people through the social network service is quite working well. And then now I want to share some of the external collaboration works as well, process. So like I mentioned, we are pushing the Open BIM workflow for the coordination purpose, like especially with the structure and MEP consultants using IFC. So this is our actual workflow, how we do the model transfer from ArchiCAD to the Revit. So from ArchiCAD, we use a IF translator in the ArchiCAD, and then we convert to the IFC, and then we import using the ArchiCAD connection developed by the GRAPHISOFT into the Revit. And then for the other consultants model, from the Revit to the we use the ArchiCAD connection. So we convert to the IFC, and then using IF translator inside of the ArchiCAD, and then we import into the ArchiCAD. And then through this process, like first question most of people are asking is there any data loss? So for this question, I would say that it's all about the setting parameters. So if you see this IF translator, there are many settings you can control. Actually, so it depends on what kind of information you want to export and import, and then what kind of information you want to see. So actually, especially for the BIM manager role, you really need to study this all the setting parameters, and then you also have to test it before you actually implement into the actual projects. Okay, so the other workflow I want to share is quality check among these other consultants. So there's usually most project has RT structure MEP model, and then each of them they have the internal quality check before they send the model. So for us, we use the BMX for the design review mostly, and then using the IFC translator ArchiCAD connection, we convert to the IFC file, and then mostly the concept and schematic design stage. Actually, we mostly do the visual checking because there's still high chance to change the design. And then during the DD and tender stage, and then we run through the Solibri for the clash detection. So after we check all the clash check report, if there are some issues and then there's some items to discuss, we go through the technical meeting and then go back to the original model. And then once it's all cleared, and then we actually generate the federated model. And then the other thing I want to share is some different type of communication, which is simply everyone knows the renderings, which is most best solution to convince the clients. And then we also use the 3D documentation for the very explain to the design and construction intent. And then all these are from the ArchiCAD, and then this kind of master planning scale project. We also use all the ArchiCAD to generate all these diagrams, sections, and then 3D documentation. And also for the ID interior design scale projects, we use the 3D documents. Of course, the clients, even though clients can read all those 2D drawings, and this kind of one shot of 3D documents is very powerful for them to understand the space and then our design intent. And then this kind of 3D documentation also can be generated from ArchiCAD. And then the good thing is actually we don't do any like Photoshop retouching to generate all these graphic diagram, the 3D documentation sections, all these things. Actually, we use the only one model to generate, to change the graphic override, and then some kind of a setting parameters. And then also for this kind of typical construction documentation, like the interior elevation, these are also from the ArchiCAD. Like so, we actually can show all our design intent, like color of the wall, like textures, materials, like. And then the good thing is if there's a change, like if you change in the plan, I mean, and then if you change the material, it actually all the documentation is automatically updated. So you don't have to open each the drawings to update the change. And then the next one is I would like to share more on the like Twinmotion and Unreal integration. So like actually this is the the project we did, the competition project we did in the Macau. And then we actually use a live link for the Twinmotion between the I mean motion to the ArchiCAD, and then so this kind of rendering we just generated like with the almost no time. And then we worked on this project for 1 week, and then it was internally done with the rendering company. Actually, we did the project documentation, renders, animation, all internally. And then we only allocated about 2 people manpower working for the 1 week, and then we could get this kind of high quality animations and then the documentation. Okay, so next thing I want to share is some developing customized tools and workflow, like for our own improvement and interest. Like I mentioned, we like to we handle the project as like all the experiments. So architects have always sought to break the technological barriers of the time. That is what's. And then, so this is one of the tools, customized ramp tool using the Grasshopper. Because of course there's a good default ramp tool in the ArchiCAD, but we had some special requirement for the ramp design. So actually we developed this kind of the Grasshopper the script to customize the ramp design. And then also next thing is this is the GDL object, like structured GDL object from the Grasshopper. Actually, of course, there's a good live connection, but we found that there's some material attributes. There's not a limitation to transfer from the Grasshopper to the ArchiCAD. So actually, we have developed the material and then attribute transfer direct from the Grasshopper to the ArchiCAD. And the next thing is the CAD processor. I mean, of course, we are talking about BIM, but like still there are many people are using the AutoCAD in the industry. So and then we have some feedback about the CAD export, because the from ArchiCAD to AutoCAD export it's not really perfect. I mean, some lines are overlapped, and then the doors are all broken, and then because the ArchiCAD is composed of the especially those wall composite, like composed of the lines and fields, all these the different layers. So we had some feedback, so we try to clean up the CAD when we export the CAD, and then we launched this add-on in the summer 2019 in Hong Kong, and then we are still developing it and then improving it. We are also working with this like Archisoft in Korea to develop further the requirements. And then this one is a very large development. And then the scope was to create a smart city in the middle of the agriculture field. So one of the most important thing was to check the terrain slope. So in order to develop a city on this kind of environment, we wanted to understand what would be the best place to create a city. So we wanted to keep most of our landscape without touching the nature. So we developed this scripting which scanned the existing terrain from top to bottom, finding which areas are the most suitable to build the buildings. And then, as I said, we are also very interested in the sustainable design. So we do a solar study, wind study, also even the view analysis using the all the plugins which is available in the industry. Okay, so today I've shared the internal and external collaboration process, and then also the different type of communication, especially for the client's understanding. And then some customized tools for the optimizing the internal workflow. Hope these are the helpful sharing today. Yeah, and then that's it for my presentation today. Thank you. Thank you for joining the user day today.
Thank you, Jae. It was an awesome sharing session again. I'd like to thank you again to you and Enzyme for sharing always these kind of insights on how a practice can take advantage of technology to move forward. Okay, so now I'd like to introduce my colleague Carlo Riveral that will bring you in the next topic. Up to you, Carlo.
Hello, my name is Carlo, BIM consultant, GRAPHISOFT Singapore and Malaysia. So my topic would be on the sustainable BIM implementation with GRAPHISOFT and BIM KPI. So let's start. What is sustainable BIM implementation? So it's a BIM process like workflow that able to sustain project demand effectively, maintains the condition of being efficient and productive throughout the entire project phase, and you should be able to adapt for future project requirements as well. Okay, so before you could achieve sustainable implementation, you need to have a very good foundation. Let me go through with you some basic guides or framework that you could use. This is a perfect guide for you to start with, but of course, for ArchiCAD user who is under SSA subscription, we are here to guide you through the entire process. This is one of your benefits. So please, if you have questions, do contact us. Okay, so let's start with the initiation. So of course, it starts with ArchiCAD installation, BIM Cloud setup. Then next would be the process assessment. You need to know the current status of the company. Is the company new in BIM technologies? What is the proficiency level of the staff? Do you have templates or libraries? You also need to take a look on the IT structure as well, like hardware, network, budgets, or future plans. And organizational assessment, you need to set a core implementation team to identify the BIM champion or BIM lead. And one of the most important part is the kickoff meeting. This is important. We need to establish the goal properly. What is the methodology, like timelines, who will be involved, what are the expectations, what is the KPI. This needs to be established within the company, normally decided by the higher management. Again, we are here to help with all these things, so please reach us. The next one will be the planning. Identify the project implementation, visual size and complexity of the pilot project, team setup. This is where you need to plan and identify the pilot project, how many manpowers you need, and does your company has satellite office, and so on. This is basically setting up the BIM team for the pilot project. Next is measurement of success. You need to know the learning process and the project development process. Identifying deliverables. So when is the deadline, when is the implementation deadline, and so on. Okay, so IT procurement. Is there any IT infrastructure changes? This needs to be considered as well. If you don't like the hassle of maintaining your IT infrastructure, I suggest you go for BIM Cloud as a Service, which is hassle-free, no IT setup required. Again, for more details, just contact us. Next is organizational changes. There will be some restructuring of organization, like new reporting and decision-making process. So I'd like to highlight this. So BIM doesn't really overwrite your existing role. For example, you're a project architect. So it's an added layer to the organization. So just a key note here. So just an example, if you're a project architect and you have the BIM team, and let's say you have this project, so project architect is the one know all the requirements. So without a project architect, the BIM team will definitely fail. Okay, so next is transition. During the transition period, this is one of the critical stage of implementation. You need to monitor the progress of the team and making sure anyone is in line with the BIM implementation plan. This is where the struggle starts because we change how people work before. BIM adaptation strategy is really important. Need to pay attention to the people, templates, libraries, workflow, and so on. Again, please take advantage on your SSA benefits. We are here to help you in your BIM journey. Okay, so example of hand-holding, we had on-the-job mentoring, technical support, on-site and off-site, set up communication channels, and of course, don't forget the know-how development, continuous training, or scheduled training, depends on the needs. On-demand trainings, again, this is for SSA user, this is free. So we provide trick and tips, for example, project-based modeling techniques, or custom training, for example, how to use ArchiCAD for local authority submission. Okay, and lastly, we have this learning portal in our website. You could use this as your reference, or if you want to enroll to the GRAPHISOFT BIM Modular course, this was really good. Marcelo will show you some testimonial about the course later. Okay, last part would be the celebration, or we call it client success. So, but there are still some work to do. First is to analyze the completeness, means you need to record all the steps based on your workflow. Everything should be measurable so that you could evaluate if the workflow is successful or not. And lastly, the cost. You need to review and evaluate your investment. Check all softwares you had used in the project. Is the software still relevant or redundant? Then that is the time you need to evaluate whether to keep it or not. All these things need to be recorded. Believe me, this helps a lot. Again, we are here to help, so please reach us. And that's all for the sustainable implementation. Let's move on to the next topic, which is the BIM KPI. So do we really need to establish KPI? I would say yes, because KPI helps the company or individual to focus their work towards the set goals, as mentioned in the earlier slide. So the main focus of my presentation is to how GRAPHISOFT can help you achieve your BIM KPI effectively. So I will show you a real-life BIM case study here from our key client here in Singapore, which is Urbana Jurong. So
我用我 Office 的电脑啊，那个不可以，我用微庆的就可以。因为我朋友说可以嘛。
Sorry for the translation. So again, one of the KPI for Urbana Jurong is time and cost saving. Basically, if you want to achieve this, you need to have a solid, efficient BIM workflow. Again, GRAPHISOFT helped them achieve this goal using the one model concept approach. This unique idea was formulated by my colleague Chidam. So for those who don't know the process, I will try to explain it in the simplest way. So in early design, schematic design, of course, RQ will start the modeling. So once the schematic model is ready, structure and MAP can now work on the same file. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, and then work in the same file in the same model and start the schematic design. In this way, they will see the model updates real time and resolve the problem on the fly until they reach the tender stage. Okay, with the help of real-time coordination, they save time, cost, and resource. Okay. Yep, so let's move on to the main topic. I'm not gonna list all the KPI, but we'll just show you a few important KPI, okay, which is time saving, cost saving, great architecture, and win a project. Okay, let's move on to the time saving, deliver the same or more within a shorter time, quick turnaround time, better change management. This is pretty much self-explanatory. Next is cost saving. Actually, time and cost is related to each other. It's like, time and space in science. So in construction, this is a holy grail. If you save time, you definitely save money. Same works with Go Digital Save Costs. Okay, then next one will be the great architecture. Actually, this is a no-brainer if this is your KPI. Great architecture can easily be achieved in ArchiCAD because one of the strong sides of our solution is design. So with the help of real-time rendering with Twinmotion, this is a perfect solution for you. Okay, better decision and better architecture. This is quite similar to the Go Digital again. You could make better decision because we build the model virtually. In this way, we could see if the design is buildable. And lastly, win a project. So accurate bid. This is pretty straightforward in ArchiCAD, and with the knowledge of proper modeling, you could extract information and generate costing accurately. Meet client requirements. For big projects, sometimes the client requires as-built model for operation use, means for facility management. So ArchiCAD is very capable of doing that. We did demonstrate that in our user day, in our previous user day. Government requirements, so we do have some sample templates, libraries, and documentation that you could use for your local authority submission. And some custom object in our SSA website. James will show you that one in a bit. Then, as I mentioned, do reach us, especially SSA user. This is one of the best benefits you have. So please take advantage on it. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlo, for the great presentation. So basically in GRAPHISOFT, we value our customer feedback and we create content and solutions to address your needs. The tool sets that we develop, together with the know-how, will help you take better advantage of your time to achieve your goals with better results. So for this, we'll have James to show you more about the premium SSA content we have. Up to you, James.
Thank you, Marcelo. Give me a second. Okay, so I'll go through the premium SSA content that Carlo and Marcelo was just talking about. To access these, so these have been specifically developed for our local market here. So to access these, you'll need to go to our graphisoft.com/sg/SSA website. And from here, you'll need to click on the Enter SSA site, and then you can get to the SSA downloads page. So to actually enter this site, you'll need to use your Graphisoft ID. And if it's linked to your company SSA account, then to know that you're on SSA, then you'll be able to log straight in. So if you're having trouble with this, we can easily help you. So just reach out. And from here, you can access then the add-ons and libraries. So I'll go through these in a little bit more detail. So I'll go through the add-ons that we've currently been developing over the last sort of some time. The add-ons that we've currently created for the local market based on user requests as well. So these add-ons are for ArchiCAD 23 and 24 to both platforms, Mac and Windows. So just to quickly go through the ones that we have text change case. So changing any text in a label or a text to uppercase, lowercase, for example. Selection filter. So if you have, which I'll demonstrate in a bit. So if you select multiple elements, you can choose just to select certain tool-based items from that list. Create materials from surface. So this will create fills and building materials from a surface. So easier way to, basically a shortcut. Zoom to selection. So we can go from 3D back to 2D to select an element. Update classification. If you're migrating a project from one to another, then we can migrate from one classification system to a newer classification system. So this is very useful going from an earlier version of ArchiCAD, for example. Grid extension. For a detail, you'll be able to see the grid marker heads. Transfer fire rating between wall and doors and windows. So if it's in one, you can transfer it to the other elements within the wall. Zone name on section. We can add then a text field in a section directly from the zone that gets cut in that section. And the last one, Window Maker. So allow you to create custom window shapes. So to install these, so you'll need to go to this SSA site. Just make sure that you close ArchiCAD, you unzip this download file, and then you add this download file to your applications folder or application folder, and under Graphisoft, ArchiCAD 24 or 23, and into the add-ons folder. So for the Window Maker, you'll also just need to load the LCF, so the library container, as well to that project if you want to use the Window Maker. The instructions are also on the website, so you don't have to memorize it. So I just want to go through 3 of these today, just to give you a little bit of a demo. So I'm going to go through the selection filter, the create materials from surface, and the zoom to selection. So the first one is the selection filter. So here I just have a very simple kind of room with a lot of different element types. So I do a selection, open up this selection filter, and here I can see all of the elements currently in this selection. So if I only select some of those elements, and you can see the count there as well. So I just select a few of the element types, click OK, and only those elements that are in that selection will remain selected. We can do the same thing from the 3D window. So here I select all of the element types, open up the selection filter, deselect a few of these elements, and then after OK, then only those that are selected will remain. So going on to the second one, so creating the material, so a fill or a building material from a surface texture. So let me demo this. So we're going to open up the command, so this dialog. We're going to choose a surface with a texture applied to it. And we want to create a fill and a building material from this surface. So we'll just make sure the name. We just get a message to say that they were created successfully. So now if I go to the fill tool and choose a cover fill, now under the image fills, I have this new image fill that came from that surface. So here it's the same texture. The same if I draw a slab, I have a new building material from this surface. And then if I just draw this in the model, and have a look at this in 3D. So here we can see it has the correct surface also applied to it. So this is a real shortcut to create these kind of 3 attributes just from the 1 attribute. The third example I want to go through is zoom to selection. So here I have a very simple house, and just with a few different elements over 2 floors. So what I'm going to do is then switch to the floor plan and zoom in, and then I'm going to select this door inside the building. And then if we use this command, so if we go up to this command, zoom to selection, and here I can say show in 3D. So from there in the 3D window, it will zoom to that selection. So it will, select it and then zoom to it. So if I select a couple of other elements in the 3D window, so this door and this window, and I use the zoom to selection, but in reverse. So I'm going to show these on the floor plan. Then the floor plan will select these elements and then zoom to that selection. So a real simple way to kind of go between views, but that's not all. So in the section view, I can also select a couple of different elements. So here I have a couple of objects on an upper floor. So I can select these, and from this, I can also do the show in floor plan as well, or in 3D. So if I show in floor plan, then it will change the story and select these elements as well. So I think this is a real time saver to be able to know where an element is. So if you see it in 3D, you can easily find it on the floor plan as well. So in addition to these add-ons, we also have custom libraries that we've developed based on user requests here. These include 4 libraries, so this also includes the BCA e-submission libraries as well. So in total, there's around over 270 objects. A lot of these are highly customizable to be in different shapes, especially based on local needs and local requests. So let me just highlight a couple of those. So here's a few kind of more markers or 2D kind of elements. So here we have, in the middle, we have section markers that can be customized in their shape. For example, even one that has a different head on either end, also based on local requests. The right-hand side, we have the story level markers that you can then customize. And then on the left, we have this drawing title that will read the information directly from the drawing on the layout. A couple of other objects also included in these libraries, for example, multi-paneled window. So this can be customized to a different pattern, how many panels you want to cross, whether they're openable or not. Multi-sliding door, so you can choose how many panels you want sliding. And also a louvered panel that can be adjusted, so the angle, horizontal, vertical. So for example, like a shading device. So this is just a selection of what we have. So again, you can download this content, so these add-ons and the libraries from our graphisoft.com/sg/SSA website. Sorry, I'm just going to reshare from Marcelo. So we have these content that we can that you can download, and in addition to this, for our SSA users, so some additional benefits. You can have private storage for BIMX. So if you're not on SSA, you only have public storage, so anything is kind of visible. But with SSA, you have private storage. We have our free local basic and advanced trainings. Currently, these are online. We also have free and discounted content on our learn.graphisoft.com. So Marcelo will talk about this in a few minutes. And also admission to exclusive localized events as well. So I think a lot of additional benefits. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Marcelo. Thanks.
Thank you, James. I think everyone in the audience is very excited with all the add-ons we have here. Actually, most of them we have for quite some time, but not everyone has been testing them. So now I come here to show you how you can upskill your BIM knowledge. So basically, Graphisoft has come out with a global program. It's called GRAPHISOFT Learn. With this global program, we want to have a universal way of going through the learning content that Graphisoft creates, and this learning content will be certified and recognized worldwide. So we have trainer-led online courses such as the BIM Manager program. We have online video courses. We have webinars, ebooks. So we have documents that teach you some workflows about ArchiCAD. So you can go to learn.graphisoft.com to find this information. We have here a couple of testimonials from our users in Singapore and Malaysia. So Ricky from Malaysia, the director of design and BIM manager from VR3D. He went to the first batch of this training, and he recognizes that the training materials are up to date and relevant. The training is delivered by experienced BIM professionals, give you an insight to the best practices and the trends of the construction industry using BIM. Also, the group projects are useful and based on real-world scenarios to share experience and ideas. So he recommends to go for this training for intermediate and experienced users to upscale the knowledge. So that's why we thank you, Ricky, for such a nice testimonial. We also have Roberto from Park & Associates that was also a part of the first batch. I think they were very brave to go into this in the beginning. So they believe he believes it's a well-crafted to real-world BIM practice. So the resources provided were very up-to-date and in line with the current trend in the built environment. He also recognizes that the lecturers are professional architects and BIM managers, and he also highly recommends this training to architectural BIM users. So I would even go a bit further because it covers all the BIM management side. So today we have good news for you. This content and other content under learn.graphisoft.com are at 50% Black Friday discount. So if you use the Black Friday coupon until the end of November 29, you'll be able to benefit from this discounted offer. So I advise you all to log in. You will need a Graphisoft ID, and then you can take advantage of this. So with this, we got to the end of the sharing session. I want to thank you, everyone, for staying through the event, and we welcome you anytime.